Over a series of screenings, 3 young adults will be competing for points. The cult films chosen will be some of the craziest, most challenging, and controversial films ever made. This is Surprise Movies. I'm going to give you guys each your very own token. This is just for participating, just for coming out, guys.
Thanks.
Just to say thank you.
Just like sports day.
Because you're all special.
Day.
Yeah, it is. It's like sports day.
Did you put yours in your hair?
No, mine's right here. Would you like me to
Doesn't
put
want to
it
mess
in
up
my
his
hair?
hair, actually.
Yeah, I spent all this
Were
time
we
getting
going
it
to talk
perfect.
about it?
We had this conversation already. I'm yearning to see. I want to know.
Yeah, I've been
nervous.
anticipating it all day too.
I'm so excited.
I don't want to go first.
I'll let you go first because you're...
Okay. Hi, I'm Adam.
What about yourself?
What about myself?
Yeah.
I don't know. Dude, we'll figure
He's
that out later.
single.
And ready to mingle.
My favorite movie? Oh, I don't know. I really like Hairspray and Mean Girls.
What?
These are the movies I like. These are the movies I watch regularly. I like Frozen. I like Inglourious Bastards. That's a good one.
Frozen and
No,
Inglourious
just
Basterds.
move it. Just ask me what movies I like. These are the movies I like.
Okay.
I'm Ashley. My favorite movie. See, I feel like it changes every month. Right now, it's Dogtooth. So check that one out. And we'll see what tonight brings. Maybe I'll have a new favorite movie tonight.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth.
What movies?
I like Kill Bill. I do.
Do you like Frozen too?
Yeah,
I do also like Frozen,
Okay,
actually.
do you like Hairspray though?
I haven't seen Hairspray.
Hairspray was a quick answer for me. I'd like to just point that out. Can we pick the cards now? I want to see the movies.
Ooh. 7. And the 7 is like the number 7. So it's going to be a creative one.
Tideland.
Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Portrait of a Serial Killer.
7 is going to be about 7 people who get themselves into a problematic situation. And I think there's betrayal involved. And probably, like, death and crazy people.
I have no idea.
It sounds like, Tideland sounds like one of those indie, like, ocean movies. But I know it's not going to be like
I feel like
that,
it's gonna
probably.
be like the Vancouver feet story or something like that.
Where
Where they like all those like feet wash up on the shores of Vancouver,
Ew.
you know, with like shoes.
That's gross.
Yeah, it's gonna be like that.
It's 2000. Well, it is a Canadian.
It's 2005. It's possible.
Yeah.
It's not wrong. It's gonna be like something
Yeah,
like that.
Canadian stuff is always weird.
But also UK. So who knows?
That's
Canadian stuff's always
interesting.
weird.
It is, it's true. It's just always either bad or weird.
Oh, we are so cultured up here in the north.
If I had to, take a wild guess, I'd say maybe there's some serial killing in this movie. 1986, so...
I have no idea.
Where's
Never
the?
heard
Where, is
USA.
it USA?
USA.
American.
Who's the guy that people are like, oh no, it's Henry?
Oh no, it's Henry.
Henry's just like not a threatening name, so you kind of have to be a little bit vicious.
That's true. If the title was just Henry, I wouldn't be scared. The fact that we've all heard of 7, like vaguely at one point, kind of makes me want to pick that one.
See, 7 kind of also seems like it'd be kind of like in the Panic Room vein, how it'd be like
Yeah.
intense, like
I'm kind of feeling
and I'm
intense.
just like,
No?
you're feeling intensity?
Well, just because all the coffee
Well, like-
I had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not really like in the mood for like dark and like people with guns being like, cool down.
Yeah.
I feel like that might be.
I
a
could
7.
I could see some feet
But
washed
I
up on the shore. Like that. I also think like Tide, like laundry, is there a connection there or something? I don't
See,
know.
I keep
Some
thinking
Tide
of,
Pods.
did you see that? Yes, Tide Pods! It's about a bunch of Canadian and UK kids who band together and decide to eat Tide Pods.
Yes!
Us in 10 years.
Maybe we should go with this one, you know?
Tideland? I can't decide between 7 and Tideland.
Like, I'm in the mood
Tide
for
Pod.
something not too, like, jumpy or intense, just like...
Maybe we should watch Tideland then.
I vote Tideland.
Oh, maybe there's sharks. Maybe it's like a killer
Maybe
shark.
there's sharks!
Tideland.
Alright, Tideland it is. I'm ready.
How long is it? 2 hours exactly. See,
I'm scared.
since it's like an independent company, I feel like this is gonna be a lot more like...
Well, it's Canadian. Okay, calm down.
I'm like not ready.
It's gonna be okay.
Oh, creaking your feet.
The rabbit hole went straight on like a tunnel for someone, and then Dick was suddenly dead. So suddenly that Alice had not a moment to think about stopping herself.
What the f*** are you doing? How many times do I have to tell you to stay away from my chocolate, you little bitch?
It was the methadone that killed her. Should have kept her on the junk. I should have just cut her dose and kept her on it. Now she's dead and I don't have a car.
That's not sad. Oh, now we can eat all our choc bars. Look, here they are.
Yeah, set her on fire. My drift degree. Misty fjords at dawn.
She's looking for us.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh no. I don't know.
Chill. This isn't fun. It's a sad man. It's a sad, sad man. Now. Oh no.
Oh my god.
Is she all better now?
Of course he's better. Of course he is. Dear Lord. I'll love a hand to death. I keep that troublesome stranger away. That is my calling.
Hallelujah.
When you have someone doesn't have to die.
Oh, recovery is expensive. I've never so happy. I'm alive.
Lazarus, you know I love you, don't you?
I'm sorry.
Honey, I'm sorry. I'll do something nice.
Hallelujah.
She kissed me. It was when I was little.
She never kissed me. Because I didn't get born yet.
Sometimes she did this in my mouth. And that was fun. It was a snake, I think. There's a goldfish dance. Some days I'll be here all day kissing with her.
No.
She's a nice lady. Except she's dead. I was her cutie. I was her little cutie.
Oh no.
But you...
Oh my god.
You're a little cutie.
You're a little cutie too.
Silly kissers.
Silly kissers. Oh, exploding the ground. Bigger than firecrackers and bullets.
I like firecrackers.
Me too, 'cause I really do.
And then you find out
We're so pretentious.
Let's cheers.
Look at how we build ourselves. I need this to get me.
You can tell it was up by the movie.
So Tideland.
First of all,
First,
brilliant. I loved it.
Yeah.
what it's about is it's basically narrated by a young girl, probably like 8 years old.
Yeah.
I want to say. And it kind of goes through her head, and she has family members who deal with addiction and stuff, and then she has to move away. These creepy things kind of start happening, and she meets some strange people along the way.
It can be difficult to watch.
The creepy thing is, too, is because she's a lonely child, because she doesn't have a good life.
Not very nice, is it?
No, not very nice.
So she takes the Barbie doll heads and she puts them on her fingers. She talks to them and she has like all these different personalities and they talk back.
And different accents too. Did you notice that?
Oh yeah.
You ready, Mystique? I was born ready.
And you know, there was a lot of different elements. I feel like it was a well-made film, like great cinematography, great effects. The acting was phenomenal, and that made me happy too because it's nice to see like local actors doing really well and like making good work like that.
Well, and it was pretty much this little girl the entire time.
And she's local too, like she's from around BC.
She is, but it was just amazing because like you said, Ashley, she's probably like 8, 9 years old at the most, like.
And she carried it
so
well.
totally
Like, I don't know what kind of life experience she went through to get herself.
I was amazed and a little bit horrified. I mean, like I was saying, I mean, imagine being in a film like this, that age, and like how do you understand?
Being in a film like that at our age.
Exactly, yeah.
Because like her name's Jodelle Furland, and I recognized her face, and I'm like, where do I know her from? And I'm like, oh yeah, she was in like the Silent Hill stuff and that sort of thing.
Yes, that was it.
So I'm watching it, and I'm like, it can't be too creepy. It's the little girl. And then I thought back to Silent Hill, and I'm like, oh no.
I will say, because she was a child, I personally always felt a little bit safe. Like, I didn't think that anyone's gonna, hack and slash her, or it was gonna be something gruesome like that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that they would. I
And
didn't
that's
think
where,
that it would go that far.
The eeriness comes from too, is the typical like child, like you're kind of seeing it through their innocent eyes, but you know something's really wrong.
Well, yeah, it was. You can see how she's misinterpreting the situations.
Yes.
But it's meant for the audience to fully understand the situation.
And I think that's where a lot of like the discomfort was coming from, because like with like it's like my inner like maternal instincts kicking in, being like, no, I need to protect you. This is not good. That's not good.
I feel like though it almost made it more comfortable for me. And we're all getting freaked out. We're like, no, that's weird. That's creepy. Whatever it is. And then, but then you're like, but remember what it was like to be a kid, and you have no idea what's going on.
Oh no, I don't want to see this.
What are they doing? He's touching this boy thing. It's not angry. Feet. She's kissing it. He's trying to call for help. He's a vampire.
It's a funny one to kind of jump into as well, just like the filming style. I think I was saying down there. Like, I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, this is fantasy. Nope, this is going to be a horror. Nope, this is like a low budget, maybe indie. And it was just like, I think that's where I felt like a little bit of disconnect coming in. Like, I wanted them to just kind of focus on one thing. And like, there were times when it did feel like more of like a kid's movie in a way. Like Spiderwick Chronicles or something like that.
Because it's about a child and you're seeing the child's point of view, that makes it in some ways.
Like little Freddie Highmore was gonna start running around. I was so thankful when more humans showed up, because I thought, oh my god, we're gonna watch this girl go insane. for 2 hours with these doll heads. Like, I didn't think any
I
actual people were gonna show up.
I don't know. I always thought there was gonna be something more.
I was just worried about her eating.
Oh God, yeah, that's gross.
Well, because you don't see her eat for like 2 days.
Oh God. Me.
You don't have to eat if you don't want to, Daddy.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Maybe I'll bring back some food from Dad.
I wish Jodelle Frill and the little girl got way more notice than she has now, because that performance alone, like, there's Jeff Bridges in it who's, you know, famous for his own thing, but that alone should have just skyrocketed her career more, I think.
It's disturbing, but because it's so disturbing, sometimes people have a hard time looking past that. You know, if something shocks you so much, it can be hard to see what's underneath all of that.
Like, I think too with fairy tales, like, yes, they started to be like dark originally, but there's a point with fairy tales, like growing up for us and everything, that there's some safety behind it, and incorporating that in, like, I did not feel safe at all during the movie. Going back to the thing with genres, if you know the genre, then you can kind of like start feeling a little bit safer, but since there were like no boundaries here.
I was
like,
not trying to guess a genre. I was like, I'm not even gonna bother to try.
I was trying, but yeah, like Ashley, I think, was saying, it's just like, is it a thriller? Is it a kid's movie? Like,
it's definitely like a roller coaster you kind of jump into, and like just goes off the tracks and you land wherever. Something about the Barbie heads reminded me of Sid from Toy Story with like the claw. For 2005 too, like that was
pretty good.
That was good. It did feel like a 2005 type of movie, but like for something like
I don't know, it felt kind of ageless to me. It didn't feel like it was a specific
Like if you told
time.
me this was made like recently, I would believe you.
Or if you told me it was made way before, it was very
Except
like
the film quality was.
The film quality, but it was still kind of like ageless in a lot of
the themes and everything for sure were ageless.
I thought it was just gonna be like more of a forgotten indie film, but like with the fantasy and the effects, I'm like, how could such a good quality fantasy movie just be like flung so under the radar?
Yeah.
And then as it went on, I was like,
well,
we all started screaming.
Yeah, that was interesting because we're sitting there screaming, and I'm thinking this seems like it's. You know, there's some kind of violence.
It no longer felt safe. It no longer. There was always a little bit of that safety of like it's a child and hopefully they won't do anything harmful to this child on camera. But once that started happening, it was like, oh my God, we're gonna see something way worse than violence.
I mean, it's funny because when you think about it, actually they didn't do anything explicit.
yeah.
Well, they
it
barely.
was just so wrong.
You could feel how much fun she was having, which was great as an actress, but watching it, I'm like, don't have fun. This is horrible.
Don't enjoy that.
Like, don't enjoy that.
Well, because there were moments, because I kept thinking in my head, I'm like, how could you do this? Like, as a child, how? But then I would see her, she'd be running around laughing, and I'd be like, oh, she's just a kid, she's just having fun.
Dickens, I'd like to see your secret.
I don't know.
Oh,
You're my boyfriend.
Oh no!
My cute.
No!
You're my dear sweet Captain. And I'm Mrs. Captain.
Oh no! Oh no! I don't know what made that so like for me.
I don't know.
Because it was just a child, right? You know, the child just doesn't have the experience. She just doesn't know better. She's lived a life of, you know, she just is trained to give her dad, like, you know, the needle. And so she just has, that's the life that she knows, and that's normal for her, and you're like, that shouldn't be normal, and so it's your instinct to be like, oh my God, get out of there, child.
I almost forgot about that. At the very beginning of the movie, it was just like her parents on drugs, and then she's the one that has to give them the needle.
And she's just instinctually, she's just, oh yeah, I know how to do that, let me just whip that up for you, pop it in.
Damn. Poor me. Damn. go greet the May sunrise.
That's when I thought it was gonna be like some like indie rock film, like some
Yeah.
music type thing, and like it threw you around
It
everywhere.
really did, which
right?
was kind of, I think, the fun of the movie, because you didn't know what was gonna happen, and I think I actually really enjoyed that.
And like, yeah, I couldn't even like get up to go to the bathroom. Like, it made me feel uncomfortable. But I'm like, I'm gonna miss so much,
Oh, no,
even if
you
I just
can't
miss
miss
a
any of
second.
it.
Well,
Like,
so I feel like we should also all talk about how all of us legitimately considered getting up and leaving. I think it all kind of ran past our minds like this, where is this gonna go?
Oh my gosh. Oh my
Jesus
gosh.
Christ.
Oh my god.
I didn't feel too inspired by it.
Really?
Aside from like the filming and like the amount of work put in the acting is great, but like I didn't.
I was like moved by it. I was
Yeah,
like,
I
oh
was
my
too,
God.
but... So, do we recommend it, guys?
I absolutely recommend it.
Me too.
Recommend
Yeah,
it.
it was good. Like I don't know that I would watch it again, or if I did, it would be not for a long time, but I would definitely recommend watching it.
I guess like I'd recommend.
If it's not like an immediate recommend, then it's
Then-
probably just not.
I would recommend it, but if someone had to watch it, I'd be like, you're on your own. Been there, done that. No thanks.
Yeah.
Again, like I do commend the actors. Like they did a phenomenal job, but I don't think, as much as I love the fantasy thing, it was for me. And again, I think it's just like maternal instincts kicking in, and I do want to read the book and see kind of what that's all about, and maybe it'll change some things for me. But yeah, it's not something I would go out of my way to recommend.
I think that it was an important thing to shock you, but
Yeah.
and I genuinely considered walking out, but I'm
Does it-
glad I
But
stayed.
we had
because
each other, so we could.
Yeah.
Exactly, like-
That was the thing.
I felt a little more compelled to stay because of the scenario we were in,
Yeah.
but
Like if
I'm
I
glad I
did
stayed.
exactly, like if I didn't have my friends to watch it with, I'd be like,
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's not. If I was watching this by myself, no, I'd be out.
I'm not sure if I would have stuck through, but I'm very glad I
Do
did,
you-
and I would recommend people stick through it.
Cheers!
Cheers.
Cheers!